everyone, welcome to MT Guitar. Today we're doing an acoustic classic, Norwegian Wood by the Beatles. Classic John Lennon song here, and this is a wonderful lesson for those beginners and intermediates who want to sort of get to more of the intermediate level with strumming, because we have a nice chance to play a melody inside of these chords here. Okay, John Lennon, truly an amazing rhythm guitar player, probably is not talked about enough, right? So if we look at this main hook here, right, we have a D chord essentially the whole time, but what's happening is these two fingers are essentially staying put, and the index is going to be playing that first melody note, and then the pinky is going to take over. And then index and pinky are kind of doing a little dance here. And then finally the middle finger comes up. But this ring finger actually never moves. So you kind of have sort of a drone almost. Speaking of drones, this is very famous for the use of the sitar. So George Harrison basically got really inspired while the Beatles were filming their second movie, Help. And there was, some sitar music going on actually during the filming of the movie. George was very intrigued, went ahead and bought a sitar. Before he even studied with Ravi Shankar, he was sort of messing around with it. And on this song, they thought, let's try it. So George, of course, up for the task. And even more of a reason, more of a reason to really nail that melody. So what I did is I played slide. Now, I did that partially because the slide sounds very similar to the sitar in terms of the fact that the sitar really doesn't use half steps like we do. Like when I say we, Western instruments do. So the slide has that sitar quality because it sort of is able to float between the notes. And there's no accident that when George kind of stopped playing the sitar as much around 68 or so, he really went heavily into slide, and he was known throughout the early 70s and stuff as the go-to slide guy. So always good to learn slide. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually learn that hook with the slide, so you can mess around with that. And then finally, besides just the main part here, oops, let me get my capo back on. I'll teach on the Patreon the chord melody. Well, I won't teach it, but I'll have it written out there when I go, Really fun to play. And that's just something that you can do. Basically, it's just this up an octave. So that's it for my spiel. This was on Rubber Soul, classic album. Forgot to mention that. Go ahead, subscribe, hit the bell icon, check out the tab on the Patreon, and big shout out to the patrons there. Thank you so much for the support. Let's zoom in and learn this. All right, so we got capo on 2nd fret. We're going to start with this, obviously the hook here, which is the intro and the verse. There's only 2 sections of this song, the verse/chorus, which is 1 section, and then the middle 8. That's not a fancy word, but that's the old-fashioned word for bridge. Back in the 60s, they used to say middle 8, meaning 8 bars. So you can call it that, or you can just call it the bridge. Here we go. You get a D chord ready, and as I mentioned in the demo here, these fingers are going to stay put. The index is going to be taking some trips here away from that string, so be aware of that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to focus on just the melody, meaning we're going to be moving our fingers around here on the left hand, and we're not going to be strumming yet. The strumming is quite easy, but it's a little bit overwhelming probably to do it all at once. So we're just going to do the melody just with a single down strum on each melody note. Then we'll add the strums in, and you'll see how it'll be pretty easy actually. Now usually you're probably told to avoid the 5th string on a D chord, but you can clearly hear Lennon is not caring about that at all. He's definitely hitting the 5th string, and it sounds nice partially because it's a lower octave of the 3rd string. The 5th and 3rd strings are octaves, and that's the first melody note, so it's kind of reinforcing the melody. Alright, so you're going to go down, and the first melody note is basically just the regular chord, but it's on the 3rd string. So you're not really hitting the first 2 strings. Okay, now, here we go. You're going to hammer on, you're going to hit the 4th and 3rd strings, and hammer on to 4th fret with the pinky. Okay, so 5th, 4th, 3rd strings, then 4th and 3rd strings, hammer to 4th fret. Then go back to 2nd fret. So just lift the pinky. Now lift the index so the 3rd string is open and hit the 4th and 3rd strings. Then pinky goes to 4th fret, 4th string. And you can actually have the 3rd string open, ringing out, because that's what John did. So far. One more time. That was a little sloppy there. Notice the melody is kind of always with another string. So it's part of the rhythm of it. We're not just isolating one string. We're kind of strumming strings around the melody. One more time. Okay. Now, 2nd fret, 4th string. So index finger does that. 3rd string open now. So lift everything besides these 2 fingers, of course. Pinky 4th fret, 4th string, and then open, but when you go open, make sure you get that index back to the regular D position. So far, the whole thing. Okay, now we do open 5th string, lift the middle finger, so the middle finger finally lifts, go to 3rd fret, 5th string, then 3rd string open, so the index is lifted. Now 2nd fret, 5th string, and then open. Open 5th string, all right? So that would be, and you can hit the 4th string with it. And then, oh, sorry, last thing. When you go here, open 3rd, open 2nd. When you hit the 5th string and 4th string and basically the whole chord, you hammer on to the 3rd string. Like this. Okay. So the whole melody without strumming is 3, 4. Actually, it's in 6/8, excuse me. 6/8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last time. Such a beautiful melody. It's also the vocal melody. Now we're going to add the strum. So it's basically down, down, up, down, up. All right? Down, down, up, down, up. Then the hammer on. And then you don't strum. You're just going down, down, down. And then here, down, down, up, down, up. When you hit that pinky 4th fret, 4th string, you go down, down, up, down, up. See, so it's down, down, up when you have time. Then melody, 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 down, down, up, down. And then open 3rd, open 2nd, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So the whole thing. Down, up, down, up. Down, up. Down, down, up, down, up, down. To go fast, but there you go. So that's the hook, and that's the entire verse. Hopefully that's clear. It's a little tricky teaching strumming when there's melody, because it's almost like it's confusing the brain a little bit. Like, what am I doing here? So what you're doing is the melody is more important than the strumming. The strumming's like the response. It's like melody. It's like melody, response. Melody, 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 response. Melody, 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 melody. Or maybe a better word than response would be it's a filler. It's like melody, and then we need to do something, so we're strumming. Okay, different ways to think about it, but one of the biggest aha moments I have with melody is it's more important than the chord. It just is. So if you're doing melody, that's what you want to focus on. Then the strumming and the chord itself, is important too, but it's not like it needs to be louder. It shouldn't be louder. It should just be kind of supporting it. And actually you can hear John really just strumming the heck out of it. He's actually pretty aggressive. And I guess there's, on the Beatles Bible, there's there's some sort of story that he was mad or something that people weren't getting the song. So he was sort of strumming really hard. So anyway, you can really dig in. There you go. That's the verse. And then we have the middle eight. So he's probably doing a bar chord. No one teaches that, and I can see why it kind of is annoying. But if you want to be super accurate, you would do a D minor bar chord to a G bar chord. My arrangement, I'm just going to keep it simple, and it's pretty much identical. So we're going to do the open chords. All right? You can do either one. So after you go 2 phrases here, let's just go through it, and then we'll get to the middle 8. One more time. Here we go to the middle 8. So now we go down on a D minor, and we're going to go down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. You could also just go down, up, down, up, down, up every time. That's what he did, but it's a little busy for just one guitar solo. So I would go down, down, up, down, over and over 4 times. G, same thing. This is pretty easy. Repeat. Now we go to E minor. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, A. Then you just go back to a verse, and it just goes, it's a classic A-B song form, meaning A section, B section, never changing. Now, so there's that on the Patreon, but I told you I'd teach you the slide part. So here we go. We don't want to pick with a slide. Definitely a no-no. I mean, you could try, but I would say it's much easier to mute everything with the fingers. So this is not I'm not going to go in depth about slide, but I use my ring finger, and it's all about muting. So if I don't mute anything, it's a mess. So you got to mute everything with the right hand except for the string you're playing. Usually I do that by having the thumb on the string above it. I think Derek Trucks, who's the best slide guitar player in the world, does something similar where you're just sort of striking with your index mostly and muting with the thumb mostly on the string above, and the palm is kind of muting everything else. But don't quote me on that. He may do something different, but it's probably something related to that. So we're going to slide up. You got to use your ear with slide. 7th fret, 7 to 9 slide. Now you go 10, 9 on the 2nd string. So far. Okay, slide's difficult, right, because of the intonation. Now you go 7, 7, 10, 9. Then 9, 3rd string. So that would be so far. Now the hardest part of all, 7th fret, 3rd string, 5th fret, 1st string, 6 to 4 slide. Because it's hard because to do it fast, you have to mute. You have to mute that, and then go back. So I couldn't really nail it on the demo, so I got it just close enough, I think, but definitely not something I'm good at. So the whole slide would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you could just do that without a slide. Obviously loses a lot of the gusto. Still sounds good though. But this is sort of more accurate to the sitar. So you can impress your friends with some slide stuff and just say, hey, sound familiar? It's a great melody. Now, if you want to not go there, you could go here. I almost did that, but it seems a little silly to go that far. Okay? That's it. So, have fun with this. Pretty self-explanatory as far as you got the A section, you got the B section. This is a song you can play from beginning to end without too much effort if you can just get that hook down. And remember to enjoy, as always, the This is a Beatles song. It's meant to be fun. And there you go. See you next lesson.